Hey, what's up, y'all? So today I had an event earlier this morning at a school, taking pictures and doing some social media content and stuff. So I have another event with the same company at 1. But lately, I've been trying to push myself to honestly, I've been basically trying to get the turnaround time to be the same day, same time for social media content. A lot of times for PR and just regular marketing, photos, videos for like websites and stuff. Anything for like other than social media stuff doesn't need to be turned around the same day or in a short amount of time. But anything that has to do with social needs to be real time, on site, on time, all the time. So my goal and me pushing myself, I said that okay, whenever I do a photo shoot or a video shoot for any client, honestly, I want to see how fast I can get it back to them. So what is the equipment? What is the editing platform? What is my process? Like all of the above. How do I make sure that I get it back to them as fast as possible for photo and video? That was a big struggle of mine for a while, and I was honestly in my head about it, but now I'm actually just really going face forward with it. And I've even gone to the point to tell my clients that, hey, I'm gonna get it back to you on the same day, which puts me on the clock for a lot of stuff. So now for sure, I could definitely give it to you back on the same day by 11 o'clock at PM. However, you're not posting at that time. So if I can get you the pictures back in the time enough for you to post before everybody else goes to sleep, I'm bringing more value than anybody else who's doing what I do. And that's the game, honestly. So that's what I'm doing now. So I just wanted y'all to see me while I edit these pictures. So the first thing I do is go through and pick my pictures, pick the best ones, pick the ones that, of course, are like that take the least amount of effort to edit, but also are good enough to post on social or to post anywhere, honestly. So I think that's an important part too that a lot of people miss out when it comes to content, and whether that's a business, nonprofit, or whether that's for a personal account, like whatever it is, make sure that you're finding pictures that are the best, and not necessarily in the best of like, oh, the easiest to edit, but also the best just context for what you're doing and what the goal is for the client that you're working with or for the goal that you have for yourself. And I think that's something that I learned early on with my content. Like when I was doing content originally, I was literally making content it was fashion content, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I was bringing some real value, but all I could do was do me. And I knew doing me would help a lot of people because a lot of times people thought that I spent $1,000 on all my suits, but I honestly went to Dillard's and Macy's for New Year's and Christmas and all the holidays when they had the biggest sales and they had to get rid of the suits, and that's when I bought them. So there's a lot of just context when it comes to a lot of stuff. And I think it's important for people to understand that the content that you do in general needs to align with what you're trying to put off. Now, if you're just trying to post content just to post, then that's a whole other story. But when it comes to business or when it comes to a nonprofit, when it comes to any organization and you have a social page, or if you have a personal account and you're trying to boost your followers, boost brand deals, boost all those type of things, you have to make sure that you're providing real value to people that they'll come back and see you for more. Anybody can post a picture that you leaving the club. Everybody can't post a picture of kids dancing and smiling while a nonprofit is reading to them to show that they have a reading program that actually works and the kids are engaged in it. That's a totally different conversation of how you post. So when I do take pictures, that's what I think about. So I try to get an understanding of the client. I try to get an understanding of like what I'm taking, where I'm taking it, what is the impact of it, and what it could potentially be, and what people will be looking for. I'm also trying to get better at like not taking so many pictures. At one point, I was doing good, but I was in one place. So now it's like when I'm working with different clients, I want to make sure I have more than enough, so that if it comes to a point where it's like, all right, I have enough to give them, and I have enough that's actually going to help them in general. I've taken 300 pictures, but 150 is good. That doesn't mean I'm gonna edit 150, but 150 is good. But as a marketer and a photographer and a videographer and just who I am in general, I think about the full picture and not just the simple tasks that they ask me to do. I can take pictures for you all day, but if that doesn't convert, you're not gonna call me back to take pictures. I could give you the best picture you've ever had, but if I don't get the moments where you're engaging with the students and they're actually paying attention to you and you have a reading program in your nonprofit, there's no point in me taking pictures. I think it's a lot of times people don't think about that, but for me, I think about that often, which kind of stagnates me, but it keeps me still and it keeps me like contemplating. Sometimes it makes me overthink, but after a while, I get it together. And now I've gotten to the point where I really am able to, bring real value and to do it. And I'm actually still learning that process. Like I'm not just doing it just out of just habit and out of, oh, I'm just doing it. I'm really seeing what I'm doing and I know what I'm looking for when I go into a place. But that comes with asking questions. If you don't ask questions while you're doing it, then you won't know. But I think it's just important for people, especially photographers and videographers, to understand what the client's goals are. And if they can't communicate that to you, please understand when you do talk to them, have an understanding of what their business is. At least try to figure out what it is beforehand. And I feel like that'll help you in your process of what to shoot. It'll help you with your shot list. It'll help you with the type of people you need to book. It'll help you with all of the above. Because if I got somebody who just does personal brand content, but I'm supposed to have somebody that does events or food photography and they only do personal brand content, I'm not booking a influencer photographer for food photography. That's not gonna happen. And not that they can't do it, but the type of value that I can get from an actual food photographer is different. So if I just book somebody, or if I'm a photographer that just takes pictures of whatever, and I don't have a niche, but I know somebody who does, if somebody is a food photographer, that needs to go down. Now, if I want to get into food photography, I need to learn from the best and learn how they shoot, what they shoot with, what restaurants are looking for, what's a good picture, what's a bad picture when it comes to food. That's something that you can't buy. That's something that you can't just go to a class and learn. That's something that you really got to do research and ask questions about before you go in that realm. And know you're probably not gonna get a straight answer, but the more research that you do and the more that you see and the more that you ask questions from other photographers that actually do it, the better. And a lot of times they won't give you the game, they won't tell you, they are gonna gatekeep. That's just the game that you win because everything's competition. However, there are ways that you can do it that you can get the answers that you want. Just don't think that you ask somebody and they say no, that's the end all be all, because that's not it at all. I'm telling you as someone who has done it multiple times, and it's not finessing. Like most times I tell people straight up, but for me, in my situation, it's different. I actually book photographers and videographers for what I do in my company. I don't just ask them to just ask. I ask them for what they do so that I can potentially book them one day. Just make sure that when you go out and do ask the questions, you got your intent right. Now, if you're trying to finesse and just learn the game just because you know they good at what they do, then, that's on you. And also you might find some people that are not gonna gatekeep and gonna tell you straight up what they do and how they do it and why they do it. And that's a sign of somebody who's really good at what they do. A lot of times people who don't give you the game and don't put you on, they're not 100% satisfied in how they do and what they do. So they're not gonna give you the game because they know they got more work to do. And test it. I think a lot of people don't test stuff. Like a lot of photographers and videographers and media people, like they don't test stuff on their own. Like I'll cook something in my kitchen and start recording and look at it and be like, that's trash. I need to work on this if I want to do something like that. I think that part is important as well, to make sure that you understand like where you are in your level as far as what you can or cannot do. Understanding where you are in your journey and like keep learning and keep doing, that's something that's gonna be way more important